So the question was asked on my comment section of another video. What can we do as new nurses to not let other people sabotage us in the nursing profession? So I'm here to finally answer that question. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, please stay tuned. Welcome back. My name is Dr. Marida P, registered nurse, been a nurse for 18 years. OBGYN, well baby nursery is my specialty. I currently teach at a HBCU and I am doctorally prepared. So let's tackle the question. The question was, what can we do as new nurses to not allow people to sabotage us? So the one thing I want to say, if you are a black nurse specifically, you need to get you a black mentor. And I mean that, a black mentor. Find you a mentor, which definitely looks like you. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and say it like this: black or not, have several mentors. Several mentors. Make one of them black, even if you're white or other, whatever it happens to be. Get you a black mentor. Let me explain to you why it's important to have a black mentor, no matter what race you are. So, for the obvious, if you are happen to be black, they're going to tell you the ins and outs pretty readily and let you know what you can expect as a BIPOC nurse, black nurse. Now, if you are not BIPOC, you're non-BIPOC, non-person of color, you can still benefit from having a black mentor. Why? It's because of the fact that he or she's going to show you what we deal with, especially if you're an ally, what we deal with in the nursing profession, so that you can have a different lens of how you care for patients, especially black patients or minority patients, because we all receive some type of disservice, shall I say, or effects of racism from nurses at large, the healthcare community at large, even physicians at large. So I do want to say, find you a mentor of color, one that looks like you. If you're non-BIPOC, non-person of color, find you one anyway. Let that be one of your mentors. Because of what I just said, he or she's going to shed some light into you that you're going to like, I never thought of it from that perspective. We all can benefit from that. Number two, you need to know your stuff. And when I say know your stuff, I mean know your stuff. You do not rely on the said Karens and people in your workforce to teach you everything. And if you happen to be BIPOC, do not rely on them to teach you things, because they will sometimes sabotage you, purposely withhold information from you, so that you are not privy to the information that they and other nurses are privy to. That is on purpose for sometimes. So make sure you know your stuff. You should be knowing your stuff while you're in school. It is often said that when you are a minority nurse, black nurse in my case, that we have to know twice as much to get half as far. And that's literally the truth. We have to know twice as much to get half as far. So we have no choice but to know our stuff. So when I say that, I'm meaning the fact that you as a nurse needs to know everything about everything you're supposed to know. Take notes, check your orders, make sure you look at your policies that your hospital or your unit has said that you know you need to do this by this way. Also, this earring is getting on my nerves, but also the Nurse Practice Act of your state. Know that Nurse Practice Act. Know your scope of practice. You want to know how not to be taken advantage of. You want to know how not to be sabotaged. These are the ways to not deal with those issues. Know your Nurse Practice Act of your state. Know your scope of practice within your facility, what you can and cannot do. Also know the stuff that you're supposed to know to take care of your patient population. Learn the rules of your hospital. Learn your physicians. Trust but verify, meaning every single thing that someone tells you to do, it should be verified by an order, verified by a policy, a protocol. It should be verified in writing somewhere to say, yes, this is how we do X, Y, and Z. These are the things that you need to know how to be successful as a new nurse when it comes to not being sabotaged. Now, we all gonna get got from time to time, okay? But it should not be a mainstay where you get got all the time, because they will come for you. They will do things on purpose to make sure that you are not where you need to be. And what are you gonna do about it when you get caught up in some mess? Think about that. Also, one last thing I want to say before we go off this topic is, we always say we have two ears, one mouth, right? Take the time to listen and not talk. Number two, do a lot of observation. So definitely watch what's going on around you. If you see a said nurse who is doing things on purpose to sabotage another nurse, stay away from that nurse. Do a lot of listening, do a lot of observing, and kind of find out what's going on in the workforce where you work at to see, is this somebody I should align myself with? Is this somebody I can trust, I can go to? Or is it somebody that I can't go to? And when you govern yourself accordingly to those principles, you will find yourself in a better situation than most. I have followed these principles. I've had black mentors. I've actually had white mentors as well. Black preceptors and white preceptors as well. I've learned from both. I've learned a lot from both. Um, but what I will say is that because I have learned to just sit back and observe, I've learned most from that. And I learned from other people's experiences. So when I see somebody getting rolled up for some nonsense or some things, I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to me. Then at that point in time, I'm like, okay, you know what? Noted. Mental note. Don't do that. Um, and again, I always take the time to make sure I know my stuff. Always. I always know what I'm supposed to be doing. I always verify everything. I double check everything. I do not go off of what somebody tells me to do. I'll say, where's the order for that? And that's something that I've always aligned myself with when it comes to being a professional in in the nursing profession, as well as kind of governing myself accordingly to what I needed to do to maintain my license. I do not want to lose my license under no accord for anybody. So hopefully this helps the person who asked this question months ago. And I'm so sorry it's taking me so long to come back to you. But hopefully this will benefit you and whoever else who's watching this video to know that these are some ways that you can keep yourself out of trouble when it comes to working in the nursing profession, because these Karens will purposely set you up because they don't want to see you succeed. They have issues with them themselves. Until the next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.